Okay, so our first video is going to be based on basic C programming. Okay, the very basic main function. So let's just start with our new project. I'll be using code blocks for this because I usually use code blocks and it's kind of easy to use, and I'll be choosing C and any name, okay, I don't really like giving names. And the compiler used here will be GNU GCC compiler, just so you know. Don't ask me more about it. And main function. Okay, coming to the point, you can see this here: hash include stdio.h and stdlib.h. Now these two are header files. Okay, now this one is not actually necessary for this program, so you can either comment it using // or you can just leave it like that, no harm. And this standard input output header file is used for printf and scanf statements usually, because that is that is where they are defined. And now we have this main function. Okay, if you need to know anything about C, the very first thing you need to know that is C is a procedure oriented programming. That means your program or your code is going to be divided into functions, unlike the object oriented programming, wherein your program or your code will be everything about the object. You have an object, you create it, and then you associate everything with it, and then later on when it's not needed, you just destroy it. That's how it works. But here it's purely based on functions. You need to do a task, you call a function. You have to do particular task, you have to write the code within a particular function. Okay, that's how it works. Now let me tell you, this is the main function, and syntax for the function is return type. It can be integer or double or void. That means it's not going to return anything. And then function name. And then main can actually have int argc, and if I'm not wrong, yeah, and then character **argv. This is nothing but the number of arguments, and these are the elements. Okay, now we have, but we actually don't use it now, so I guess it's fine. Now we make use of printf function, wherein you just want to write something on the console. Let me show you. We'll just build and run. Okay, you can see the output here, hello world. So printf is basically just to output something on the screen, on the console, and it can be written within, it has to be written within double quotes. Now why do we use this /n function? Now /n is nothing but new line function. So if at all I write hello me here, so you can see after hello world there was /n, which means new line character, so it entered new line, and after that hello me was printed. So then we come back to this return 0. Let me tell you the importance of return function. No, it's not a function, sorry. Why do we use return? You can see that here return type is integer. That means our function has to return an integer value, and it's returning 0. Return in main function usually means that you're returning the exit status of the application or that program. So 0 in the sense it was successful, and 1 in the sense it was not successful, and something else in the sense some other value in the sense, okay, I don't know. Long back I studied in Unix, don't really remember. Not really long back, but still my memory isn't that great. Anyways, if you know, you can tell. And where is I? Okay, this is for showing the exit status of the application. Now any function, you'll have to define it within these curly braces, and parameters must be enclosed within these common braces. And then main function is usually like the starting point for any application. So no matter how many programs you have, your program will, no matter how many functions you have, your program will start getting executed from this main function onwards. So your program will first, the control is first given to the main function and then from there to the other functions. And there's one more thing that you need to note, that is, if at all you're using other functions, you need to call them. In case you're familiar with C, you might already know this, but you need not call the main function because it is called automatically by the operating system, and then once this finishes execution, the control will be given back to the operating system. That's how it works, I guess. Okay, there's one more thing to talk about here regarding the main function. Most of them ask whether it's predefined or user defined. Honestly, I'm not sure of the answer. It's user defined because you can write anything within these curly braces and it's going to get executed. It's not defined. See here, printf, it's defined already. You're not going to write it again. What is the code for printf? How is it supposed to get executed? But then main function, you can write anything within these curly braces. But again, declaration is fixed in the compiler for main function, so you could call it predefined. I guess that is something for me to think about and for you to comment upon, so please help me with this. And anyways, I think that's all for this video, and stay tuned for more. If you need any help, you can just comment and I could do a video on that. It's just a hello world video, but still the things you learned about the library files, header files, main function, printf statement, returning something, any program, you take any program, it can be broken down to the simplest level, and that's how you learn, and that's when programming becomes interesting. I've used /n here. I could use /t too. That would mean tab, just a space between hello world and hello me. I think there are two types of learning: smart way of learning and one is faster way. Okay, faster way would be that, okay, I know what this program will do. It's just going to print hello world and that's sufficient for me. And then smarter way would be trying to understand different ways in which this particular program can work, just like how we did now. Not actually smart, it's hard, but still, let me think it's smart because we actually understand the concept and somehow it's going to help us in further learning of other programs, I suppose. Well, it worked for me. I hope it works for you too. Okay, see ya then, and stay tuned for more videos.